Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and today we're going to be taking a look at Galak-Z, the Dimensional, on the PlayStation 4. It's a game developed by 17-Bit Studios, and I'm going to be doing this, as you guys know, as part of my Without Sound series, so I really can't hear myself right now. I've actually done a pretty good job with a layer of ear protection that I use for shooting at the range to kind of cut out most of my voice. It's a really weird feeling. So we're going to be taking a look at this game. I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions like I would normally do, but of course simulating the idea that I have lost my hearing, simulating being deaf, and still doing video game commentary. And I've been playing Galak-Z over the last week in that exact same environment. I have no idea what the sound effects in this game are like, but luckily Galak-Z does a lot of really good things, including kind of emulating the sort of Saturday morning anime kind of thing, you know, back in the day when you watched Toonami and, you know, Gundam was on in the morning and a lot of the other animes that you saw on Toonami. Galak-Z reminds me a lot of that, and that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at the options menu, because as you can see, this is very reminiscent of something that anyone who was born in the 90s or the 80s would recognize, the sort of tracking button you would have if you paused your TV, perhaps to mess with some of the option settings. You know, on your VCR, if that was linked up to your game console, or, you know, just to wherever you were watching cartoons on. So I quite like what they've done with this. We can get a look at the control key bindings, which are very straightforward. You can't change them, no reason to do so. You can turn vibrations on and off. You also have the ability to mess with damage numbers, subtitles, your brightness, and then your audio options, which does not apply to me since I cannot hear. So I've already started the game. You can see there's essentially 5 seasons. I'm still on the first season. So the game is a bit of a roguelike. We're gonna go ahead and actually skip the intro. The game is a bit of a roguelike, and the way that it works is you have to complete all of the missions in a season without dying in order to move on to the next season. You also cannot quit a mission during a season, because that will also force you to restart the season. So that is a roguelike element of it. There is save progression, but it comes in chunks. So you can see from the art style, again, that sort of anime-ish, you know, Toonami, American anime, popular anime type thing going on. I love it. I really genuinely dig it. And the game actually does communicate to the player in text very often. I'm probably talking a lot louder than usual right now because I'm trying to inherently hear my own voice. It's a very interesting conundrum. I can only imagine what it would be like to actually not have that do anything. So we're aboard the USS Axielos Combat Information Center. You can see we've got a character in the background. She's one of the characters who's essentially saved us. We kind of abandoned ship, and our dude thinks he's some sort of a badass when he's not really. So let's go ahead and get into this.
I'm hungry.
So she says she's hungry. Nothing damages crew morale quite like half rations, except maybe 0 rations, which is what we have. Scans detect the lost food crate. Bring home the bacon or whatever else it's got. So this is one of the characters, Crash, that we've actually saved earlier on in the game. Basically, he's kind of a mechanic. So the good thing about that is as we play through the game and we earn salvage, we'll be able to unlock different pieces of equipment for our ship. And this kind of all carries over. So even if you die, you still get to, you know, maintain, you know, your money. You do seem to lose your upgrades, though, but you keep some of your salvage. So it is kind of like you are being completely wiped, but you can see we've got a couple different things here. Repair kits, missile packs. We've got ship ability modifications. So I'm kind of look at what we've got here. It's this one down here. So we've got auto fire. I'm probably going to go with that early on. And doesn't really look like we can afford much else. We can increase our missile capacity, but we've already got 16. However, missiles are pretty useful, so I'll go ahead and do that. Sadly, we can't afford to buy any more missiles, so we're going to go ahead and roll out. And here's where you can see you can actually change your modifications. So I already have, we got our auto fire there now. And everything else is going to be, you know, applied automatically. Obviously, the only other thing we purchased was the ability to hold more missiles. So this is where you'd swap out all of your different upgrades as you went through the course of the game. Basically, just your laser upgrades in this section. I really dig the color scheme, though. The game is very visually impressive. I like it. The worlds that you're actually going to play in are procedurally generated, so no, like, you know, no combat mission is ever the same. It's all generated differently. I haven't actually made it very far into the game because I'm it's actually kind of a challenging experience, and I have to say that the loss of audio feedback, it definitely makes the game more difficult to play. Episode 1 of 5, you can see I love what this game does. Honestly, if you own a PlayStation 4, there are so many reasons to play this game. You know, especially if you were big into anime as a kid, even if you just, you know, kind of dug anime. Like for me, I just really grew up with Gundam, and I didn't really watch much else. I would say it's totally worth checking out. So you can see we've got a lot of objective markers. There's even like checkpoints here. That is an enemy ship. So basically you control your ship with the left stick. You can kind of spin in any direction. R2 is going to be your throttle, L2 is going to be your reverse. You can hold both of them to brake, and then you can use R1 to boost. We also have a juke ability that I unlocked, which is basically a barrel roll to dodge incoming missiles. You can see we've got some enemy ships here. And we can also use circle to actually engage our missile system, which you have to kind of hold down and lock on. So learning how to fly your ship is definitely a big part of the game, maintaining your boost and navigating environments without crashing. Salvage is important because, again, like I said, we're going to use that to purchase upgrades from Crash. So I do, and these are bad. You don't want to get stuck on these. They slow you down, they leech onto your ship. They're like this ultra cool little space organism. I was really impressed with that. I thought that was an awesome little mechanic. So let's go ahead and make our way up here. Looks like the game got an update just recently. So it's funny because, you know, I mean, I've been playing the game probably for about 3 or 4 hours now. I've really haven't been able to beat the first chapter, I'll be honest. I'm still kind of learning the combat and getting better at it. The game gets really, it doesn't get ultra difficult very quickly, but it definitely becomes challenging. And I think one of the things that I've been getting slowly more and more used to is playing without sound. For me, I find when I play games without sound, like in a casual setting even usually, it really makes the game challenging for me. Even a single player experience like this where it's not like I'm using audio to kind of see where an enemy is coming from, but there's just that loss of sound really distracts me from the experience. But I've been coping with it actually, and I kind of have, you know, when I think about Galak-Z and when I talking to my brother about the game, and I was thinking about it the other night because it is a game that I've really become quite fond of. It's, you know, probably one of my favorite games I've played all year. And I can't wait to hear what it actually sounds like, but I've been making my sounds up in my head. So, you know, when I look at my memory of the game, there is audio there. Even though I obviously have no idea what the game sounds like, I've sort of, you know, created my own audio memory. It's weird how my brain sort of automatically did that. You know, when I think about Galak-Z, my brain like inputs audio, the idea of sound being there, you know, of flying a ship and all these different things, when obviously there isn't anything there. I haven't heard any sounds. So it's a really interesting, you know, experience for me, phenomena, that kind of just happened. We got a ton of weapon upgrades on this map. We got laser upgrades, we got assault muzzle. Look at the damage on that. You can see A-Tak, he's our main character. I love, if you look down on the left side of the screen, we have this awesome little animation, so when you shoot, he goes all like, teeth gritting anime. It's just like so dope. I love what they've done with that. And I think it's a lot of the components like that Galak-Z has, that, you know, it does express to me, you know, as a player, communicates to me fairly well without any direct audio. That's like a lava pit, we don't want to go there. Lava pit in space. Like, that's such a weird feeling. It's kind of got like the lines on it, you know, like he's a cutout, almost like signal source. There's a lot of feedback through the controller, which is nice. You know, we do have a full map system, but yeah, there's, you know, the vibration you get from a PlayStation 4 controller, like, you know, there's that sense of feedback when you fire the weapons. And then again, you have that visual feedback when you look at A-Tak's screen, so. Also, I love that there's actual text. You know, it's, like, I like the subtitles, how they're built in. And, you know, again, it does that, kind of just fits with that Saturday morning cartoon feel for me. I really like that. And again, you know, as someone who can't hear while I'm playing this game, it helps communicate the game to me very well. Everything's actually going really well. This feels like a really easy level. I think it's because this is the first time I've actually... This is the start of a new season, is what I should say. So this is our first time out on a brand new season restart. Same season, but a restart of that season, because I've yet to complete it. It does start to get much more challenging, like in Episode 3 and Episode 4. I really like what they did with a lot of the environmental hurdles. It does take a little bit to get used to components like that. Like, I found it difficult at first to realize where I could actually fly under and where I couldn't. Once you start to see the way the art design works and like the geometry of the levels, it becomes a little bit easier to navigate. And you can kind of also get a general idea of where the hell you're going. If you look on the left side of the screen, you have our map there. Basically, it just starts to unveil sections of the map, like broken up into squares, so it's a fairly simplistic thing. But as I said, if you hit the middle pad here, we kind of have a more detailed map layout. And then you also have your database, so you can see the missions, your career unlocks, your FOE finder, so basically statistics and details on all of the different things that you've ran into, and then your pilot handbook, which is just kind of tips and things that have been said to you over time. The one thing I've really been looking forward to, because I've heard this about Galak-Z, it's the one thing I really knew about this game, was that eventually you can get an upgrade for your ship that transforms it into a mech. Like a Gundam, basically, with an energy sword and everything, a beam saber, and I want that so badly, but I haven't gotten to that difficulty in the game. Let's try and see if we can get a lock on here.
Okay. Yes. Taking damage. My shield. Arrogant fish face.
Some
Coming in hot.
boost dodging going on here. So basically, once you complete the objective in a zone, you're gonna go ahead and actually move out of that zone through like a warp jump thing. Oh, that's a boss we got. We have a mini boss. So this is kind of like the idea of a randomly, you know, the randomly generated level design, is that you never know what's gonna happen. So we've got like a weird creature boss over here, and I'm actually like, I'm really tempted to try and kill this thing. So maybe if we boost past it. Okay, maybe I can't. Let's just leave. Let's go to our warp beacon and get the hell out of Dodge. I've just been making sounds up in my brain for like the boost and stuff, but they do such a good job again in that visual representation, because as I showed you guys earlier, it's not just in firing, but if you watch Atac's you know, his profile picture there is sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, his face. You know, even when you boost and when you do a barrel roll, there's sort of a little animation, you know. It's a really nice touch. You know, it's funny because I just picked this game at random because I knew so little about it. But like, if I had to recommend a game of this genre to someone who couldn't hear and really wanted, you know, like what kind of game is going to give me the best experience as someone who can't hear, I would strongly recommend this game, you know, above a lot of other games. I think this and like Nuclear Throne would be on the top of that list because I think the visual effects that Nuclear Throne uses to, you know, simulate like recoil and stuff, I think those do a very good job of, again, communicating to the player without direct use of sound. That being said, you know, there's a really big part of me that is really happy that I can actually hear. It's like the whole time I've been playing this, I mean, it's, you know, I've actually gotten like really emotional about it. I know that sounds really corny, but it's true. Like when I actually thought to myself, like, what, you know, like now imagine you actually are someone who has this, you know, this inability, who is deaf, who has this disability. Dude, you're never gonna know what this game sounds like. And obviously, you know, as a human, I would want to cope and overcome that challenge like so many other people do. I wouldn't just, you know, cry about it and never play games ever again. But I did get kind of really emotional for a moment, and it kind of saddened me, you know, when I thought about that, you know, what that would be like for some other people. I mean, it was at that same point in time, it was, you know, earlier on when I was playing the game, I was really thinking deep about it. It was at that point in time when I really got into, you know, mentally creating sound effects for myself, and I think that's how, you know, I kind of started to create my own sort of audio memories for this game, despite not really knowing at all what it hears like. So we're gonna go ahead and stop inside here, we hold triangle, and we'll go ahead and jump out of space, activate our warp beacon. That's basically how you complete a level. So now we'll have salvage and all these different components that we can use to buy more upgrades for the ship to keep moving forward and try and complete this whole chapter. Some wonderful little animation and cutscenes when you boost out too. I love it, like, it's so good. I like what they do with that. Of course, you get a clear time, there's hidden chests to find, so you could explore more of the zone if you wanted to. And I also found a crash coin. Really, really love what they've done with this game. This is like a complete surprise for me because I didn't really know much about Galak-Z until I decided to do this experiment, and then all of a sudden, like, I find this game and I'm just so in love with it. It's so much fun. It is really challenging though, I have to say. It's probably one of the harder games that I've played in quite some time. So, this is so weird, like I'm still, you know, I'm trying to just do a normal first impression here, but it's fun to have to comment on the, you know, the lack of my ability to hear rather than what I would normally be doing is telling guys, oh, the sound effects are great, I love the music in this game, you know? That's something we'll save for the afterthought, but let's go ahead, we'll hop into one more mission here before we head off. Looks like we need some warp crystals. Let me make this simple. No crystal equals no power for the Axelios. No power equals no shields. No shields equals horrible, painful deaths for all of us. Equals why are you still here? Go get some crystals. Alright, so we've up 287 salvage. Not much. We could buy some more missiles, but we haven't really burned through that many. And we could get a temporary shield. It's like right now I haven't developed like any sort of hardcore strategy for this game yet. I just know that usually around episode 4 is the farthest I've made it. That's when things get difficult, so I might want to save onto my salvage and try and obtain some of these components at a better, you know, when I'm a little bit stronger. Or when I'm having a little bit more of a struggle is what I should say. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to grab some missiles, 8 missiles, so we'll end up wasting 2 missiles. And yeah, we won't use the shield yet. I'm gonna go ahead and save my salvage so we can snag the shields at a later date. So we did actually pick up that other muzzle out in the field, so that's awesome. So we actually now have this assault muzzle, which is, you can see, a lot tighter than the basic muzzle, which is why we were really able to chew through some of those enemies and those bugs very quickly. Initializing GNS, de-icing. This game, it is this really wonderful combination of things for me, right? I think there's a little bit of like Cowboy Bebop in here somewhere. I don't know why. I just get that like in, I don't know what it is. The way the characters present themselves maybe is a little bit goofy. And then you definitely have like, you know, some Gundam going on there for me. You know, that's definitely a big part of it. So there's like a mixture of things for me. And maybe some like Battletech in there. You know, Robocry. Robotech, sorry. Robotech. Wow. Defacing my own childhood memories. Man, I would love another Robotech game. Looks like we got some larger ships early off the bat. Yeah, let's just go ahead and clean that guy up quickly before he starts doing some serious damage to our ship. Die! Ah! I love just the teeth gritting laser, you know, fire on full auto. Like, da 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 da. Oh, it's so good, man. Like, just huge props to 17-bit. Oh, he's done such a good job with this. This game has put just such a big grin on my face the entire time I've been playing it. And it really is just all about the details at the end of the day, you know? It's the smaller components of the game that have really made me smile. And the flight itself, like, it's really, you know, it's twitchy, your ship's extremely agile. Once you start getting the boost down and, like, braking, you can do some really cool maneuvers. It starts to feel like you are actually becoming this super legit space pilot, you know? And A-Tak himself, he's a very cocky main character, you know? He's very much like, oh, I'm so good, man, you got the best space pilot in the world, but at the start of the game, he has 0 confirmed kills. So there's this huge sense of comedy surrounding that whole situation. I love it. Alright. Some more supplies, grab some missiles. Let's go ahead and move out of this zone here. Another laser upgrade, hell yeah. So we got shot bounce, I'm all about that. Oh yeah, you can ricochet them off walls, that's awesome.
Receiving fire. Human. Yes. I'm hit. My shields are blown. Taking damage. My shields are blown.
I don't know what they call friendly fire, but a little bit disconcerting there, actually watching those all ricochet towards my ship. And there's more abilities, right? Like I told you guys, there's actually a huge set of abilities you're gonna unlock as you actually move throughout the game, you know, and you stay alive through each chapter. So that's the big thing, is to complete each of the chapters. And you see the blueprint we just snagged there, so whenever you grab blueprints, basically, that means that Crash can now go ahead and actually build those blueprints, and they'll be available in the shop.
Oh, not on the shop.
That's why I saved my rockets! Oh man, that was bad. He really got our shields there.
Taking Imperial fire. Arrogant fish face coming in hot. Oh, well played.
That was really close, actually. Let's go check this out. I like these tiny nooks, man. This is where you get all the goodies, the hidden goodies. What the hell? What the hell is this thing? Oh, there you go. It's actually, wow, I didn't know that. I've ran into those before, and I had no idea that those were there. I feel like such a noob now. Okay, so we got 364 salvage. Automatically applied 15% speed boost so we could turbocharge our ship. I'll take that. I feel like going fast is actually a vitally important aspect. We also need some health, though. I think it's like the health is going to be kind of important. I really don't want to die here, so we'll go ahead and snag that up. And is this a dead end? No, it's not. Alright, we'll navigate our way back out this way. Hopefully there's no bugs hiding in this passageway. A couple more enemy ships. Let's see if we can't get them all in kind of one direction here. Oh, man. It's funny how, you know, like modern pop culture can change just one sentence like one direction and make it sound like something completely different. That's what I get for knowing younger people. I have to say, I'd rather play this game without sound than have to play this game while listening to One Direction blaring in my ears, so there's a plus there. We got a bug! Oh my god, we got several bugs. We got a lock. Let's just go ahead and nuke them with the missiles. Boost! Boost! Boom!
Money in the bank.
Oh, that's lava! Die, bugs, die! And I thought they smelled bad on the outside. That's a bit of a Star Wars reference there, if there ever was one. Yeah, ship health. Awesome, perfect time for that upgrade. We really needed that.
Money in the bank.
So we got +1 to our oh crap, this is bad. That's a turret.
You're gonna need to shoot it and collect the pieces.
Shoot the crystal. Got it.
I love that, you know, right? Because you're in space, so it is the idea that there isn't any, you know, gravity. You're kind of floating around, so things like missiles and oh my god, things like missiles actually will cause your ship to bounce across the map, as well as other ships. Oh, what is this? That's the crystal she was talking about, I'm assuming. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here.
Return to the warp point.
Boost, boost, boost for days. So, sadly, Galak-Z is currently only on the PlayStation 4. I would really love to see this come to PC, because I know a lot of people would be so into this. This, to me, is just like the perfect combination of things, right? Roguelikes, for me, you know, they're always a genre that is I'm very picky with it, because there are certain ones I feel are just, they're intentionally too difficult, and they don't become fun on you know, playthrough after playthrough. Obviously, the random generation definitely helps this you know, game. It helps the replayability level there. I also like how it's broken up into seasons, so you can go ahead and complete an entire season, and you have that sense of progress then. So it's not just a matter of you're always starting from, you know, round one. You just kind of have to make a big hurdle. Once you make that hurdle, you'll get a save point. You know, I like that. It's kind of Souls-esque in that way. You know, how there is a sign of relief if you can reach it. But I think the thing that really makes Galak-Z special to me is just the art style, the theme, and the presentation, which I think is completely just it's outstanding. It's over the top. You know, as all the things I pointed out in this video, you know, they just make this game click for me on a lot of levels, and I'm actually really looking forward to doing the afterthoughts for this series so I can finally hear what this game sounds like, because I imagine the sound design is going to be fantastic. I really hope it can hold up to the rest of the game, and, you know, what I've experienced thus far, of just the attention to detail in the visuals, and just in the game's overall design. So, snag that last guy, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here.
I'm here.
Copy. Bringing you in.
Boost! Boo! So Galak-Z is on the PlayStation 4 right now. It actually came out last week. It's available for $19.99. Sadly, there's no discount for PlayStation Plus or anything like that going on currently, at least not that I noticed. If you like twin stick shooters, if you like, you know, permadeath mechanics and roguelikes, if you like Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon anime, if you like Gundam Wing, if you like spaceships, you should play Galak-Z. And also, if you somehow are watching this, I know there's not subtitles, or if you know someone who is a gamer who is deaf, this is a game that I would strongly recommend. A game that delivers on a lot of levels, even without the ability to actually have any audio feedback provided to the player. As you guys know, we're going to go ahead and finish up this series, this experiment, with one more episode. I'm just going to kind of look back on things, give you guys my thoughts on the whole thing, and we're also going to check out Galak-Z with sound, so I can kind of do a little bit of a comparison of what I had created in my head and what the game actually sounds like, and if the game's sound design is actually wonderful for those lucky group of us who do have hearing. This has definitely been a really fun and a really interesting and actually quite an eye-opening experience for me. It's definitely made me appreciate audio design more than I already did, and I didn't think that was quite possible. Let me know your thoughts, guys, on Galak-Z. I really do not know how you guys will have watched this, if I'm going to leave the audio in or if I'm going to leave it out. I think I will leave it in, and of course it is completely up to you guys to decide whether or not to actually watch this video with or without sound and experience it how you see fit. Anything else you have to say for me, leave it down in the comment section below. Look for the final episode of Without Sound later this week, and I'll see you in a place and time where I've somehow magically regained my hearing.